Hello wonderful people of the internet, my name is Caroline Kihugu. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I think it's time we talked about the elephant in the room. We are talking about the hardships in the economy right now. We are talking about the hardships in our day-to-day life, and we hear this term which is a bit new to many, inflation. And I would like to understand how the inflation is related to today's economy or the hardships in today's day-to-day life. And today I have with me somebody to tell us about this inflation thing. You know him, he's not new in this channel, you've seen his face before. Kindly Mr. Ruiru, explain to us what is this inflation and how it affects our day-to-day life.
Okay, maybe to be a little bit to make it easier for everyone to understand now, the term inflation is very huge, and we need to get to how it really affects us, how it affects the economy, how it happens now. The Kenyan economy currently is experiencing high levels of inflation. Now, simply is where the cash, the amount of money in your pocket is very. For example, you have 1,000 and you walk into a supermarket. There's a time unasikia tukisema you walk into a supermarket and you buy a whole shopping cart. Unaijaza unga, unajaza sukari na 1,000. Right now ukiingia na hiyo 1,000 kwa supermarket, hata unga tatu haiwezi nunua. So that's one product of inflation. Now that's the best and the simplest type of explanation that you can give about inflation. Now how does inflation affect us? Let's take the same case about you have a certain amount of money. Let's say most of your subscribers are earning maybe from 30,000 to maybe 70,000. Now some things will not go up, maybe rent quite increase, but most of the fares currently have gone up. Most of the food commodities have gone up. Most of even the clothes prices, most of the things that we buy have actually gone up. This is due to inflation, where the currency we have loses value in the simplest way. So someone wants 70,000 or 40,000 or 50,000 cannot even be able to afford the type of life that they were living 2 years ago. Now their salaries have not increased, they have remained the same. So inflation reduces our purchasing power, where we have to choose. Am I going to buy unga or am I going to buy pizza? Which one do I buy? If I buy unga, 1,000 can only buy maybe 3 packets of unga. And pizza has also gone up, maybe it's costing 1,500. So you find that you don't have even enough disposable income. So you are forced to live what we call a simple and basic life, where you have been working so that you can be able to support yourself. So at this point, inflation is not good because it reduces the amount of money in your pocket, literally by cutting the value of that money in half. Right now, according to the latest CBK analysis, about 2 months ago, they said that the 1,000 is currently worth around 568 shillings. So the 1,000 Kenya shillings has lost half its value. That is due to inflation over the years, but at now it's at its lowest. Yeah. So it affects you because that means that when you earn 40,000, in real sense you're earning 20,000. That's your purchasing power. Inflation reduces your purchasing power.
From what I understand is it's not only in Kenya that we are dealing with this inflation. It's like all over the world. So I'm trying to understand who decides the rate at which there is inflation.
Okay, first of all, what sparks inflation and making your currency lose value is the US dollar. Mm-hmm. The US dollar is a global currency, and most of the imports and exports are conducted via the US dollar. Now, if you go to the US, they have been able to manage the inflation. And when Russia invaded Ukraine, the West, that is US and NATO in general, and that's US, European Union, Australia, New Zealand, they placed sanctions on Russia. Russia is a huge exporter of oil. So that first of all brought the price of oil high. Russia is also a great exporter of wheat, of fertilizer, of a lot of cereals. They come from that. The price of those commodities also went high, which meant in Kenya, you could only buy the price of those commodities at a higher price. which now means that your currency is losing value because of something that is happening miles and miles away. And because Russia does not only export to Kenya, it exports to all of Africa, to maybe some countries in South America, to maybe some countries in Europe. Because Russia exports a lot of energy to Europe, the price of those commodities went high. No. So people would spend much more money on energy, on wheat, on cereals than they used to do. So the US dollar also made sure that because of those sanctions, the oil prices also went high. Meaning that every country was forced to now start buying commodities at a higher rate, which meant that the world inflation now started to increase, which was a bad thing. Because for an import-driven country like Kenya, because Kenya imports more, we import more than we export. It means that this puts pressure on our shilling. Our shilling starts to lose value, and you can be able to see that on the news every day online that currently the Kenyan shilling is exchanging $1 is exchanging for almost 150 shillings. So that's how inflation works, and they push the prices of these commodities high because now the supply of these commodities becomes low. So that one now indirectly affects the common mwananchi in Kenya. Yeah.
So the problem is not with our leadership.
No, the problem is not with our leadership. Okay, how they handle the situation matters a lot. Because we have two fixes. You can either fix it very fast, and fixing something very fast is by providing subsidies. Now, not to be political in a channel, Carol, we are not a political channel, but subsidies are good. But up to a certain point, you cannot sustain yourself with subsidies. Now, maybe to divert off point kidogo, but I'm going to get back to the point of our leadership. The president just the other day, he was in Kiambu and said that he has banned importing furniture into the country. What happens? Now, when you get, the reason we are affected so much by inflation is because we import almost everything into this country. So the demand for the dollar goes up, and no one wants to buy the Kenya shilling. And since we import wheat, we import fuel, we import cereals, we import basic foodstuffs. We also import furniture and what have you. It means that our young people lack money, so we are not even able to sustain our shilling. We are not even able to sustain our economy. So, if we provide subsidies to cater for that inflation, it is not a long-term measure. It's a very short-term measure, and at the end of the day, it's going to cost us. So, what do we do as leadership? As the leaders, they have to come up with long-term measures. One of the long-term measures is ensuring that we are food secure. When we are food secure, it means that the war in Russia will not affect our food prices because we can be able to produce the food ourselves. Now, if we are food secure, that means that our currency won't lose a lot of value. Kwa nini? Let's say we import wheat, ngano from Russia, and 1 kg wanatuzia 100, so inafikia consumer na 150. Immediately, the war started and that price goes to 200. Inakufikia wewe karo na 250. Do you see where your 1,000 loses value? Mahali uko unanunua unga 4 za chapo, right now labda ununue 2. Kwa nini? Because war in Russia has affected that price. But imagine that wheat was being produced in maybe Rift Valley. It won't be affected even a minute. Now you can provide subsidy to that, or you can send farmers to the farm, give them the right seeds, give them the right fertilizer. When you start, it might not make sense, but a few years that would come down. The other way of handling inflation is ensuring that we start becoming export driven. Are we together? That we are not looking for the dollars. People who are buying our products are the ones who are looking for the dollars so that they can be able to pay us. Are we together? So those are our leaders have a part to play in what we call policy. But when it comes to matters of world inflation, they can really do nothing because not only Kenya but Africa is not a level player in the global field. So we are what we call ni kama watoto. When you go to a family in the African setup, parents don't ask kids what they want. They just make the decision. That's the way Africa is treated in the global stage. The IMF, the World Bank, the International Finance Corporation, the US, Britain, France, they just make decisions And then after they make those decisions, they tell us, this is what we want you to do. And because we don't have the money, that's what we do. No.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that if we can be able to employ long-term measures that are going to bring the price of our commodities down, they are going to raise the value of our shilling. Right now, Carol, the moment unga ugali itatoka 200, irudi 100, your 1,000 gains value. Are we together? The inflation comes down. But for that price to happen, that the price imeshuka, in a way that see subsidy, and in a way that is long term, it means that we have to harvest more. So such that you can be able to go to the supermarket with your 1,000 Kenya shillings and buy 7-10 packets of unga, meaning that you're going to have more money to spend. So that's the only way we can be able to reduce inflation, especially on foodstuffs. It's by increasing our production, not by importing. Yeah.
And talking about furnitures, go to Furniture Kenya. They are on Facebook. They are doing very good furnitures. Go to their pages. I will also put some of the things they do make, like the chairs, beds, and all that. I'll put them below. And if you're interested, you can call them. I'll also leave their number here. Back to today's topic about inflation. When we talked about earlier about inflation, you said there's something else called deflation. What does that mean?
Deflation is where people don't want to buy products anymore. In a simple terms, it's actually happening in China right now. China has deflation, and this is where people are not buying products. The products are there in the supermarket, but people are not buying, not because they're expensive, but people have reached that point. Because, for example, in your house, say you've got a TV. Do you need to keep on buying a TV?
No.
Now imagine if the whole country had TVs. There's an increase in supply. And not just supply, but the demand is also not because people don't have money, but people are fake up. So there's deflation. But now that one, Kenya, I think we are 70 years from getting to that point. But at the end of the day, we have to work with what we have. So currently deflation is already experienced in China. A few other countries not to mention, but China is the one that has first reported deflation. And China is affected, China because it's now a manufacturing hub, it is affected by different characteristics than us.
Yeah. And I know maybe at some point we will get to a better place, not really necessarily get into the deflation, but then somewhere, I think even with the system right now, with the education system right now, the president is really pushing it to Kenya to be a country where people can do their own things, people can manufacture their own things without really going out there, especially with the STEM, that is science, technology, what does it mean?
Science, technology, and something mathematics.
Yes.
So I think my point on that, that's a very political statement, but I'm also a political person. I think the country is heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
We can't, even in our homes, we cannot always apply short-term measures. Sometimes you have to take the wrong road. It might be painful, but it might work. To speak on that, you can look at the new model of education. We have been having universities that have not been paying staff. But because of why? Because the government would not increase their capitation. Now, I won't talk about the funding model because I'm not a politician and I'm also not going to university, but I believe that the new funding model will help alleviate that, and it will ensure that our universities now embark on courses that can be able to bring them more money. What do I mean by this? Because it was capitation per student, not per course, but per student. Most of our universities started doing business courses. Just look at the business courses. Every university, even things like JKUAT, they major business courses. Because business courses don't require equipment, they just require the number of students and the classroom. But because right now we are going to be funding per course. Now, a university kama UN and you can already facility, it means that it's going to do away with most of the business courses. And because medicine courses and law courses are expensive, and yet the government is sponsoring them, utapata wale watu wanaenda huko, yes, ni kidogo, but the university actually earns more money from that. So at the end of the day, to just support your point is that it is going to take time, but we have to strengthen ourselves. Yes, we hold our belts for a little bit, but we ensure that our kids will not pay the mess that we are in. We inherited a mess, and unless we do something strong about it, we won't move. That's my take on that. Maybe another time we can talk about politics, but
I hope that was beneficial. I hope you learned something from it. If you have a question, comment below. If you have something to comment, also comment below. And Mr. Awiro teach about forex, about bonds, about gold stocks, and all that. Go to their page. That is Bestline
Consultants and Bestline Forex Traders.
Till next time. Bye.